So this is my 11th testimony out of 15. I set out to share 15 testimonies that the Lord gave me, and this is number 11 out of my list of 15. And the name of this testimony is my Leviticus slash cartoon testimony. And this one is pretty straightforward and to the point, but it's basically about the fact that if you draw near to God, then God will draw near to you. Pretty pretty straightforward, nothing too complicated. The testimonies that I've shared so far, they weren't necessarily in chronological order, but this particular testimony took place when I was a fairly new believer several years ago. And I'm really glad that I wrote it down as something to remember because at that moment of my life, it was pretty significant. And I realized that God was tangible, Holy Spirit was present, and Jesus was somebody that I could have a personal relationship with. And not Christianity just wasn't a religion, it was something that was going to impact my life physically, emotionally, spiritually, and mentally. Why so much grain? A lot of grain. So in the Old Testament, before Jesus, people had to earn their grace. They had to work for it. And they did a lot of different types of offerings. They did a burnt offering, a grain offering, a peace offering, a reparation offering, a purification offering, sin offering, many, many different types of offerings. Okay, so here comes the part that's a little harder to explain. So, a few years ago, maybe 15 years ago or so, um, I made a point to, buckle down and read the Old Testament. I had at that point read the New Testament. I really enjoyed it. I was so blessed by it. But I knew that I should probably read the Old Testament, even though I was having a little bit of a difficult time getting through it. Um, Genesis was easy to go through, but for some reason, every time Genesis and Exodus was an easy read for me, but every time I got to around Leviticus, Chronicles, Numbers, I just started to really struggle, and I'm just being honest because I want this testimony to be based in honesty, and I want to give you an open heart and a truthful experience. So I'm being honest with you about something, and I have to be in order to share this testimony accurately. So I was making an attempt to settle in and read the Old Testament, okay? So I was in Leviticus, and I was reading line by line, word for word, reading, reading, reading. And I just remember thinking, so much bread, so many grains, so many offerings. And I started to feel a little um, okay, like this slight feeling like I wanted to stop and pray and say, God, uh, help me, help me receive something from this. Help me feel engaged in reading right now. I started to pray. I think I even shut my Bible for a second. I was like, Lord, I'm struggling right now, feeling connected to you in this book, something like that, right? So I was reading about bread, like a bread offering. Uh, and my two oldest boys were younger at the time, and they happened to be watching cartoon, like the Bears cartoon, I believe it was, and the mama bear was kneading bread, and it was okay, slight coincidence, right? Okay, no big, whatever, no big deal, right? And I just remember thinking to myself when I was reading, geez, so much bread, 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 bread. I was actually like looking, counting bread, bread, bread. And then I just happened to glance at the TV and the mama bear was kneading bread. So I was like, okay. And then I was reading about grain offering, and I remember thinking, okay, grain, flour, grain. I'm like, okay, I'm hanging on, I'm hanging on. And like there was a Nutri-Grain uh, nutrition bar commercial at that time. And I was like, okay, I'm just seeing coincidences because that's what I'm reading. So that's what I'm seeing. And these are, coincidences. I'm not gonna like read too much into it, right? It's not that big a deal, right? And something similar happened with flour. So I started, and then I'm reading flour in seeing the word flour a lot while I was reading, and something happened where I think one of my children like spilled flour or asked a question about flour. It was just weird. Um, and I started to feel like I started to feel like Holy Spirit was kind of like not not like trying to get my attention in like a fun way, if that makes any sense. So then the final thing that happened that really kind of made me feel like maybe this wasn't all just a coincidence was I was reading, I saw the word bulls in what I was reading. And sometimes my mind, when I'm reading, if I see like a similar word repeating itself, I'm like, wow, bull, bull, bull. I just remember, okay, there's a lot of bulls, bulls in here. Like I'm trying to hang on, pay attention, pay attention. I'm trying to use like self-discipline to like make, concentrate. And my doorbell rang, and I answer the door. Is some guy's selling something, and he's got a sweatshirt on that says Bulls on it. Like I guess sports team, whoever that is, somebody might know what I'm talking about. But his t-shirt said Bulls, and I'm like, I started to feel like Holy Spirit was telling me that, like, encouraging me to stay in the Word, but like, yes, he's the Word, but he's not just in here. He's in my world with me and connecting with me in my world, our world together. So this is somewhat hard to articulate, but this testimony for me has to do with the fact that when I was trying to seek the Lord in the Bible, in the Word, right? Jesus is the Word, the way, the life, the truth, the light. Really trying to connect with Him through reading the Bible. And at a point when I was struggling, the Lord connected with me in my physical world to let me know in my heart that He was around me. I was seeking Him and doing the right thing by connecting to Jesus through Holy Spirit in the Word, but He was making His presence known to me around me to let Him know that He was near me, with me, in my space, and in here. He wasn't just in here, He was in here and in here. Um, those descriptions and those stories might seem like just little coincidences, and I guess when you are living through an experience, certain things like that can be more special and meaningful to the individual who lived it and felt it, how they felt. Um, but yeah, so that, my friends, is my Leviticus slash, I call it cartoon testimony just because that's how I remembered the sequence of events. God bless.